Welcome to today's Urgent Explainer. We are bringing you verified, critical information directly from the German Weather Service, the DWD, and local Berlin authorities about a really serious dual-threat weather situation hitting the capital today. Look, we are skipping the rumors and getting straight to the facts, so you know exactly what's coming, where the dangers are, and most importantly, how to protect yourself and your community.
Okay, let's dive right into this. What we're looking at today is basically a day of extreme atmospheric whiplash. We're caught between two totally opposing forces. On one hand, we're baking under this scorching, intense heat. But on the other hand, that exact same heat is actually acting as the fuel for severe, localized storms looming just over the horizon. It's the sudden, violent shift from one extreme to the other that makes today's weather not just an inconvenience, but a genuine hazard.
So, let's break this down, starting with Act 1, the invisible threat.
And here is the number defining the first half of our day, 35. For today, Wednesday, August 5th, the DWD is forecasting peak temperatures hitting anywhere between 31 and 35 degrees Celsius. And you know, in a dense urban environment like Berlin, with all that concrete and asphalt just trapping the heat, 35 degrees feels incredibly oppressive. This isn't your standard, pleasant summer day for a picnic in the park. This is the kind of heat that actively stresses the human body.
The German Weather Service uses very specific terminology for this. They've actually issued a Level 2 warning for Berlin, calling it markantes Wetter, or significant weather. Now, this isn't just a casual heads up. A Level 2 designation means conditions have escalated to a point where they represent a real health hazard. It officially validates that if we don't take it seriously, this heat can be potentially life-threatening.
Because of that warning, the Rhein-Neckar-Dorf district health authorities have laid out exactly what this heat does to us. We're talking severe dizziness, pounding headaches, profound exhaustion, and even nausea and vomiting. These aren't just signs that you need to sit down for a minute. This is literally your body's internal alarm system screaming that it's overheating and struggling to regulate its core temperature. If you or someone around you starts showing these symptoms, you absolutely have to take immediate action to cool down.
So who bears the highest risk when the thermometer hits 35? The authorities are explicitly telling us to watch out for the elderly, people living alone who might not have immediate help if they suffer a medical episode, and infants whose bodies just can't regulate temperature efficiently yet. This heat wave isn't just an individual challenge, right? It's a community challenge.
Which brings us to Act 2, the visible threat. The first shocking data point for this incoming storm is 40. We are bracing for heavy rainfall of up to 40 liters per square meter in a very short amount of time. I mean, really think about that volume of water. When 40 liters drop onto a single square meter of city pavement in just minutes, the urban drainage systems just get completely overwhelmed. It is a massive, concentrated deluge.
But it's not just the water, is it? It's the wind pushing it. We're expecting violent storm gusts reaching up to 90 kilometers per hour. That is essentially highway driving speeds, but it's wind tearing through city streets, ripping through parks, and slamming into buildings. A 90-kilometer-per-hour gust packs some incredible kinetic energy. When you combine 40 liters of rapid rainfall with 90-kilometer-per-hour winds, the immediate localized risks skyrocket. Commuters, pay really close attention here. The DWD is warning of a severe risk of hail, sudden flash flooding, especially in low-lying areas or underpasses, and a very high risk of aquaplaning. In a matter of minutes, a totally normal commute can turn into a highly dangerous situation, as the roads basically lose all their friction. And that leads us to Act 3, the compound risk.
Why are the experts so particularly worried today? Well, and this brilliantly illustrates the real issue here. It's not just the heat, and it's not just the storm. It's exactly how these two extremes interact in our urban environment. Let's walk through this chain reaction. First, Berlin just went through weeks of very dry weather. Second, because of that drought, the city's beautiful street trees are under extreme water stress. They're totally dried out, making their branches incredibly brittle. Third, those sudden 90-kilometer-per-hour winds we just mentioned are going to slam into those dry, brittle branches. And finally, that creates a remarkably high risk of falling branches and flying debris. It's this specific combo, a long dry spell suddenly meeting violent winds, that turns our trees into a major safety hazard this afternoon.
Let's move on to the outlook and actionable safety steps. So, knowing the heat is oppressive and the storms are severe, how do we actually navigate today? Well, the good news is relief is coming fast. You can honestly take a psychological sigh of relief looking at this downward trend. While today we're sweating through 35 degrees, by Thursday it drops to a much more bearable 27 to 30 degrees with clearing skies. And by Friday, it cools down even further to a really comfortable 23 to 25 degrees. We just have to get through today's extreme spike and the storms to reach a much calmer weekend.
To get to that cooler weekend safely, the Berlin Senate and the DWD have outlined a very clear safety protocol. First, absolutely avoid the afternoon sun and hydrate regularly. Your body desperately needs that water to fight the 35-degree heat. Second, manage your indoor environment. Only ventilate your home when it's actually cooler outside than inside, otherwise you're literally just opening the door to a furnace. And third, ahead of those 90-kilometer-per-hour winds, go out to your balcony or garden right now and secure any loose items before they turn into dangerous projectiles.
So, we've covered the extreme heat, the violent storms, and the compound risks verified by the DWD, but as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one vital question. Who in your neighborhood needs a check-in today? Remember those vulnerable populations we talked about earlier? The elderly, folks living alone? Take 5 minutes, knock on a door, send a quick text, and just make sure they are hydrating and staying cool before the storms hit. Weather events like this, they definitely test our infrastructure, but they also test our community. Please check the DWD website for live radar updates as the afternoon progresses. Stay safe out there and ask yourself, how can you help someone else weather the storm today?